Hey everybody, welcome to Huddle Time with Ronit. How you guys all doing? I guess it's dark outside. It's winter, right? It's November. It's the week of Thanksgiving. So I hope you guys are preparing for Thanksgiving. I'm air streaming after 2 weeks that I have not seen you. And we're streaming from Zion National Park. Yep, we're in the middle of the desert. Yep, this is where we are. And I'm coming to you live from right here from Zion National Park. It is so beautiful, so magnificent. And I'm so happy to be here again. So if anybody is just coming in and doesn't know me, my name is Ronit Enos, and I am the host of Huddle Time with Ronit. And together with Americans Beauty Show, we decided to always have a great Monday show for you guys, talking about anything and everything, how we can create a better experience for you, how we can elevate your career and make it better. Right? So that's why we're here. My name is Ronit Enos. I'm the Profit Experts. I'm a salon coach, founder of Salon Cadence, which is a high-end training and coaching company. And every Monday, I bring here a great guest that can benefit all of us. We learn from that great guest everything we need to know about how to have better business practices, how to enjoy what we're doing more, things that are relevant for today that we need to know to help us through this bizarre times. So today I'm still tasting the most amazing beauty brunch we had last week. And I hope you guys tuned in because it was just magnificent. We did so many different things. We had 4 hours of just great experts, 4 hours of just, great DJ, great conversation with so many great people, hosts that really talked, had fun conversational. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was great. And we're already planning to do another great one. If you have not yet subscribed and if you not yet become a member of Americans Beauty Show, this is the time to do it. This is the greatest time to do it because the membership is fantastic. It includes all the shows, tickets. It includes so much and so many things that you probably want to know. So go to americansbeautyshow.com and sign up for your membership and you can find everything about it. Well, today we are going to bring in an amazing guest. She's a really, really great friend of mine. Her name is, and let me read it to you so I don't screw it up. Of course, her name is Sarah Cooper, and she is the founder and CEO of Salon software with names AURA. It's a revolutionary software that was built by salon owners for salon owners. And that is a very important part. It's just like everything else. Hairdressers for hairdressers, salon owners for salon owners. And she has a phenomenal past and extensive experience in our industry. She owned a salon. She sold a salon. She built a new software. And she's really your typical, or maybe I should say, typical superwoman, super entrepreneurs. And please let me welcome Sarah Cooper to our show. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Ronit. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's so good to see you. We just hopped on and say hello on Instagram. So I hope everybody who joined us today from Instagram Americans Beauty Show is going to really ask us some really good questions. And I'm so excited, Sarah, that you're here. I've been waiting for this for a long time.
I know we've talked about it for a long time. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you. It's been a gift knowing you. I think it's almost been a year.
Oh, it's been, I would say January will be a year. We met for the first time, and this is a true story for everybody here. We met for the first time in Long Beach, the ISCC show. And I was in the market looking for a software to bring into another software that we work with, because we work with a couple of them. And I wanted to bring something innovative. And I heard about your software, and I said to myself, I have to go meet her. And so I picked up the phone, called you, and I said, listen, I'm thinking about coming to Long Beach. And really big part of it is to meet you. and see if this is going to be a good match. And before you know it, I'm sitting next to you in Long Beach. And it was, I don't know, every day was better than the day before, just to get to know you and be next to you.
Oh, thank you. I feel the exact same way. And I can probably count on, I don't know, one, maybe two hands, the people that I instantly click with in life. And you were definitely one of them. So it has been a joy.
Thank you. And speaking about that, Sarah, we were talking about Beauty Brunch last week and how important relationships are in every industry, but especially in our industry. Mm-hmm. And I think that because of relationship, we get to have a really great presence in our client's life, in our family, our relationship in the industry. And that actually helps so much to support each other, especially as women in this industry. Do you find that the same for you?
I do. And what's so interesting about that is when we were in the research and development phase of AURA, which we can get into more of, but I always knew that community was very important from being in the salon. I mean, we would joke, but not really, that we were their most coveted, our guest most coveted appointment of the month. And that actually was probably true. And taking that over into the software side, I started out on a personal journey to see what people thought about some ideas that I was having, what their pain points were. And what I ended up realizing is that they wanted a sense of community as well, even in software, something that I would have never really thought. But people want to belong somewhere, and people want to have a say in something. And when you're really passionate about something like this industry, because people, they're artistic, they're passionate, they're driven. It's a really different kind of industry, but unique and not unique in the sense that we're all alike. We all want to be a part of something. And that helped to form a whole side of AURA that I didn't even know would ever really exist.
Oh, and I love, and I think that you're so right. We all want to be a part of something that is bigger than us, something that gives us some joy. We are human beings, so we need our tribe, right? But it's important these days, I think, that you surround yourself with people that will support you, mm-hmm. That are all in for you, because it just goes both ways. I think that's just so important to find the tribe that will support you. Sometimes I feel like you want to talk to your best friend, but your best friend is not really who is going to support you and promote you. And sometimes you just want to confide in your mom or your dad, but that might not be the best match right now for some different tasks. As a matter of fact, it always end up being like who you surround yourself that aligns with your values, that aligns what you're doing, that can elevate you even more, because that's exactly what they want for themselves.
Absolutely. Kind of mirror images of what we want is what we look for.
Yeah. But I'd love for you to tell us the story of how did you get into this industry? What started you, in this industry?
Yeah, I get asked this a lot. So I was a salon owner for 13 years. Our flagship location was in Indianapolis, and very successful salon. Started it from the bottom up. And lo and behold, and we can kind of come back to some pieces of this, but lo and behold, over time, so 13 years ago, almost 14 years ago now, it was a different industry. And we were running things differently than we would now, scheduling things differently. Online booking didn't really exist 13 years ago. And so anyway, over time, I kept wanting to move over to cloud-based. I kept wanting to move over to online booking, get into more texting things. Things were more effective. Things were more modernized. But one platform for that did not exist. And I kept thinking, and I'll just use online booking as an example. I kept thinking, why is it, or how is it rather, that I can book a trip around the world, but I can't let my clients book online? How does that make any kind of sense? And not that was the one thing that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. There were a lot of things. I needed my data real time. I was a busy mother. I had 2 daughters, one of them special needs. I was getting ready to actually go through a divorce as well. So, time was times were crazy and time was very limited. Time is like the biggest commodity in the industry alone. And then also it was for me as well. And I ended up almost out of necessity, drawing out what I thought the perfect software would be. Not that I even had any intention of doing anything with it at the time, but I drew it out and then I told one person. And I told them about a couple of months after I drew it out. And I had 35 pages of white paper with my cell phone drawn 3 times on each page. And I had every single, might have even been more than 35 pages. I had every single thing that I thought that everyone would need, from the client, from the provider, from the owner, from the manager, every single little thing. And I needed something to help me generate more revenue inside of my walls. I needed data real time, and I needed to be efficient, and I needed to automate, everything that you could possibly imagine is what I needed. And I drew it out. So I told one person who kind of said, oh my God, you have to do something with that. And I thought, oh my God, it made me feel really vulnerable. I thought, oh my gosh, if I tell someone else about this, like someone in the industry, what are they going to think? And over time, so then I had a prototype made. And, all of this is out of pocket too. A prototype made, was pitching it to other companies, and really putting myself out there. And I got turned down a lot. But what kept driving me was I kept thinking, what I wanted as a consumer of software, as a salon owner, we were busy, we were mega successful. What I wanted was something that I could trust, number one, something that was built from a salon owner standpoint. That did not exist. Everything was built from like a tech person standpoint, a big corporate person standpoint. No one that had me at the forefront of what was needed. No one was doing anything that protected me. They were doing everything that protected themselves. And I wanted to be that. That was actually the fuel that let me go through, like getting turned.
What do you mean? What do you mean? You needed something that you can trust. You needed something to protect yourself. I know that you were looking for extra revenue. You're looking for probably more efficiency. Now, speaking from a woman to woman, mom to mom, time, we're talking about time efficient, but we're also talking about, revenue. We wanted to see more revenue coming in. And so tell me about that. Like, what were you thinking? What were you drawing on that napkin, which is best ideas always come from napkins. What were you drawing that said to me, this is what I need? Because that's what we need as in the salon industry.
I needed something because obviously we all know that our salons, we're within our 4 walls, and every chair has 2 hands that can work in it. So we have our profit centers, and then we have, we're limited with our profit centers, and then we have retail, and we're limited with the retail because we can only stock so much. We're trying to get them to buy so much. So what can we start automating? And, let's take you as an example, Ronit. You teach some of the world's best practices, right? So how can I take what you're teaching me and take it back to the salon and implement it? That was always for me personally, that was always my missing link. So I wanted to create that because I was like a business education junkie, kind of. I attended all of the classes. I loved them. Scott Massad, Frank Gambuza, they were my mentors for a number of years, because they spoke in sound bites that really clicked with me. It really resonated with what they were teaching. It was attainable, but I still needed that tool when I got back to the salon. So in thinking about that, what I wanted to do was the certain areas that, like, let's take prescribing the client's next visit, retention, essentially. If we are looking at something like that, how can I automate that? And that's what I wanted to build into AURA. And I wanted to do it from a salon owner standpoint that has, I had been in the trenches for 13 years. I knew what it took, and I didn't want to take someone. I mean, there was no one else's word to take for this at the time in the industry, because, and I guess my point in saying that is I wanted to deliver to salon owners what I knew they needed, as opposed to a tech company that, says, oh, this is what the salon industry needs, but they don't really, they haven't been in it. They don't really know the nuances of it. I wanted to build that and I'm using the word trust, in an environment where people could trust and say, hey, you know what? this company works with the best business coaches. They have the best practices. It's kind of a silly thing to say. They have the best practices. They're actually following what I need to be doing in my salon every day. And that is the product that I wanted to deliver. And it goes back to our mission of being for salons by salons. And it all started with that.
Yeah. And now, so and going back into your vision, your design, obviously something started to percolate. How did you go from the design table to a protocol and then to actually sell that idea? And you said that a lot of people rejected you. And I want to talk about this because I had my Salon Cadence group call today. And I was talking about rejection. I was talking about the fear of a fear of selling, and how the mindset of the fear of selling holds you back in so many things that you want to do. So we all get rejected so many times, but at the end of the day, we'll learn how to be really good at selling because that's what we got to do. We got to sell. So how did you get it to finally become a product that you can actually sell, from the drawing board to a protocol? And then
that's that great question. It took a lot of work, and it took a lot of my own personal money. I'll be honest about that. That wasn't fun. But I believed in it. So from the prototype, was essentially just PDFs that someone made for me that I could scroll through on my phone and show people. So from there, I really started going to the brands that I knew that I worked with, because I wanted their opinion first. I wanted to say, hey, what do you think about a piece of software that does something like this? And I got the same response, I would say 100% of the time, which is, this is amazing, but can you do it? I want to see if you can do it. So then I was pitching it to companies to partner and or invest. And I'll give you one example of some big time rejection. And there's a big lesson of resiliency, which it sounds like you were teaching this morning. I went to this company, flew there, had, in my mind, we were the perfect fit. I thought for sure they're gonna want to partner. They're gonna want to like invest everything that's needed, and went there, pitched them, and they didn't laugh at me, because they really didn't, but they treated me. It was the first time, I'll be honest with you, it was the first time, at least in my adult life that I could remember, that I kind of got treated the feeling that I got was that they were like, oh, cute little girl, what a cute idea.
I was just gonna say, did they just give you that, oh yeah, whatever, she's got a good dream, a good hand on the shoulder, but she's too cute to be smart.
Yeah, and it was that, and I did feel like I was with men in the room, and I was the girl, and I felt like I wanted to defend myself, saying, no, I'm not just a girl with an idea. Like, this is a killer idea, and you don't understand it. But I politely had to walk out and pick myself back up. But how life works, which is what I feel like I've had so many lessons in my life, is right when you feel like you're getting punched in the gut, if you can be open and be resilient to not really let it knock you down, you can see the next possibility that could be literally right in front of your face. And that's actually what happened to me the same day. So I left that meeting, and this is a no exaggeration story. I left that meeting and I went to a pool at the hotel that I was staying in with some of my friends, and did what any person does when they get horribly rejected. And we were drinking tequila.
My favorite drink.
And I was, venting to my people closest to me about how irritated I was, and, trying to come up with my game plan. And I'm talking about my product, and I might have been a little, exasperated and talking. And lo and behold, this little 2-year-old is running, on the pool deck, and I almost run into him. And he had his face painted, and it scared me when I first saw him. I almost thought he had fallen down or something. And so I stopped and I said, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And as it turned out, well, let me back up. My now business partner comes running over, yelling at his son, like, "Leave these people alone. Oh my gosh." And he was trying to tell me, his son was trying to tell me a funny story, but I couldn't really understand what it was. So the gentleman whose son it was said, "By the way, I heard you talking, and have you ever thought about like A and B?" And so I kind of thought about it, but I didn't really feel like talking about it at the time. So I thought, well, that's really interesting. I'm gonna think about that.
NAB testing.
Yeah. And so anyways, that night I went up to my room and I was thinking about what he said, and he had given me his card. He said, "If you want to talk about that, give me a call." So I called him the next day. We met for a coffee, turned into a 5-hour coffee. And 3 months later, we were business partners on this idea. He looked at the competitive, did his own competitive analysis, his own due diligence to look at the market and see, okay, how is this different than the million other softwares that are out there? And so from there, let me stop at that for a second, because that's something that, if you really think about resiliency and think about like keeping your mind open to what could be next. Okay, so if this is
possibilities, yeah.
So that was pretty significant that happened. And then I would say 2.5 years later, I think we went into R&D, we did our alpha, we did our beta. And then 2.5 years later, we were raising money, and that was not easy either. Like, talk about rejection. Oh my God. Anyone that ever tells me they're raising capital, I'm like, oh, like
so hard.
It's not fun.
So hard.
And yeah, but
in round 1 and round 2 and round 3. Yeah.
Yes. But we did that and got through it. And, we're back at it again, and just trucking right along. So it's been a journey.
Now, for you, when we talk about resilience, just for everybody to know, we're talking about you created, this baby out of your vision. And at the same time, you were going through a terrible divorce. Mm-hmm. And you have, 2 children. You're a mother, and I think also your culture, your family culture is you're very devoted to your family. Your 100% priority is being a great mom. It's something no mom want to ever disappoint. So when I say superhuman, superwoman human, I mean entrepreneur, running a salon, building a software, going through a divorce, and then you have your 2 children, and even one of your children has a really unique medical condition at the same time. How, if you don't mind, to just share with us, your suffering through this time, and what kept you moving forward through this hard time?
So, great question. Everyone has something, and something very hard. And mine, the first time that the rug ever got really pulled out from under me was in my late 20s. I was pregnant with my first daughter, married, pregnant. And shortly before, about 14 weeks pregnant, I started bleeding. And long story short, what it turned out to be, and that happened a number of times, very, very, very bad times. What we ended up finding out was we were pregnant with our daughter that was going to have a very severe craniofacial disorder, and the severity of it they didn't know. So we decided that, and this is actually something else that I learned that was one of the biggest things that I didn't even know I was doing right at the time, but I did, and I'm proud to say it. And I would tell anyone to do the same. We ended up making a decision because we met with 9 different specialists that asked us if we wanted to keep the pregnancy. And at first we're thinking, oh my gosh, we had never thought about that. But we decided that we were going to keep the pregnancy no matter what. And we were going to accept it no matter what. We weren't going to ever look back and blame the other one if we made the wrong decision. And we actually did that. And even though, you know, we did go through a bad divorce, that's the one thing that we made that decision and it was final. And that's almost a relief that you can just say, okay, like this is what it is. And I have no regret. But anyway, so then she ended up being born very premature. I never made it to my third trimester. She was born under 3 pounds. So she was 2 pounds, 15 ounces. She wasn't breathing when she was born. And what we found out was she had a non-functioning jaw joint. So she couldn't open or close her mouth. And when you can't do that, it pushes for all these other reasons. Her jaw was recessed and it occluded her airway, meaning that her tongue was essentially stuck down her throat. Couldn't breathe. They had to resuscitate her for an hour and a half. It was the scariest day ever. And what we found out is she has a craniofacial syndrome that is tough, and it prohibits her from eating and breathing on her own. That being said, she's 16 and a half now, and still she has a trach and a feeding tube.
And she's a fighter.
And she is a fighter. Yeah.
Big time.
Big time.
Big time. And you know, we all listening to your story, and Bill says here, and he's always got such a great perspective. What courage both of you had at that time. I can only imagine that there's no even time to be afraid. It's just time to fight. And that's all you do is you fight the fight of your life. And both of you, you know, and obviously it shows till today, you're fighting for your industry. You're fighting for your product to be there. And so I know it's not an easy thing when you start something completely new based on a vision. And you're doing amazing right now. Tell me about how the Salon software has grown. Where are you right now with that? I mean, the world needs to know what resilience is, and not that all of us have our own resiliency and our own stories, but I love to share that, hey guys, we're almost out of the woods. So keep going, keep fighting. But I would love to know, how many clients do you have right now in the software?
We're still growing. We're still growing. We're under 500, but we plan to be well above that times a few in the next year. So that's where we are right now. We are in United States and Canada. We're very proud to say that. And we're constantly solving problems. And I will say my favorite part of my job, besides, and I'm not even saying this, like besides talking to you all the time and right now, I adore that, by the way. But my favorite part is really talking to salon owners across North America all day, every day. It's what we do. We talk to salon owners, brand executives, business coaches. We really get to hear, you know, like you, Ronit, like you have your finger on the pulse of the industry. Obviously, salon owners have their finger on the pulse of the industry in a different way. So how could we put this all together? And that's been the really amazing part of growing AURA. We've been pushing hard to grow for the last year. Before that, it was kind of perfecting coming out of beta. Maybe for like a year, not quite a year, but moving into this phase that we're in now, which is just a major growth phase. And it's been really, really fun because I'll give you, it's like a little sneak peek. So at the end of the year, so we have functionality pushes all the time. And what's really cool about that is, you know, we're not a company that's finished developing. We're going to be developing for our existence. And we have some really amazing features coming out at the end of this month, but a lot at the end of the year. And so that's another really fun part of my job, is to watch and listen to salon owners, because when I'm in a demo with someone or when I'm speaking with someone, they get so excited to say, oh my God, I have no idea. Yes, we're learning. And then we get to show them too, because they might
learning all the time.
Yes, all the time. But I love hearing people say, oh my gosh, I had no idea this existed. Like, where has this been my whole life? So that's been amazing.
Very rewarding. I totally agree. And you got such an analytic mind. You've always want to know how can you solve problem, how can you do better. Since the day I know you, this has been your number one. I think what I find your quality, which you have so many, but the number one is you're a great listener. You're such a good listener, and you empower. And I think that the next thing you do is you want to solve that problem, and you go for it. You go to the design table. So I admire that in you. I want to go back into you and I decided that we're going to tell you a story here today, and we're going to tell, what resilience has been for you through it. And here we are, we're going through COVID-19, and obviously everything that we planned since I met you was completely vanished, and the way we're doing things. However, we did get some amazing results. Both your company and my company has been growing through this hard time. And I want to open it to everybody and let you guys know that you can grow and prosper through this time. And both Sarah and I would love to share with you together some things that you can do today to, I wouldn't say crush it this year, but how about crush the next 2 months and finish on a high note and not kill yourself while you're doing this. So let's talk about some really good tips of what can we offer today to our audience so they can do better in revenue and better in profit.
So my big thing is, I feel, okay, so I'm saying I, the salon owner, I feel the most secure as a salon owner when I have cash reserves, when I have working capital that I can get my hands on if I need it, or in the event of a pandemic, or, for God knows what, if I need to pick up a new product line, if I need to do new training, if I need to get a new piece of equipment, for whatever it is. So how can I get that without going to the bank? Because we don't want to go to the bank. And one of my favorite things right now to think about is, if you can sell, we learn a lot in business classes about, and I think I'm saying this right, Ronit, correct me if I'm wrong, the law of reciprocation. We want to create that as much as we can. And
Yes.
if we can combine bringing in cash flow reserves, we'll call it reserves, and create that law of reciprocation, even better. So if you think of something like, if you have let's say that you have a holiday sale for extensions. Let's just use that as an example. One time a year, extensions are expensive. Everyone wants them though. Everyone, as soon as you put them in, you're addicted to them. I had them for, oh my God, 10 years, I think. And I was addicted to them, I will admit it. But let's say you're going to have a once a year extension sale, and you're going to market that to your clients. You're going to talk about it in the salon, but maybe you're going to, text market them or something really effective like that. One time a year only. It's exclusive, right? You can only get it this time. And maybe, whatever your extension sale would mean for you, in my mind, I think it might mean, purchasing a set of extensions and getting 3 reapplications for a major discount. But maybe you purchase all your sets for the year. Okay. But let's keep it small. And let's say that it's a $2,000 series. Okay. Maybe that gets you 2 sets, or maybe that gets you 1 set. It's a $2,000 series. If you can get 25 clients only to engage in that, all of a sudden you have $50,000 of cash reserves in the bank. Now let's
Sitting in the bank. Yes.
In the bank.
Yeah. And I would like to add to it, and take that example, guys. And so if you don't want to get into trouble of having the reserve in the bank. So I love what Sarah is saying. She's basically is working on a membership model in her brain, which I'm sure will come to fruition at one point. But this is kind of like what you do. Once you get that income, you put it in an account, a separate account, and we call it a drip account. So you always have that cash over there. And when a client comes in to redeem that service, you drip it into your income account. So this is really important. This is one of the profit first methodology things that we do is like you really want to make sure that all your gift card sales and all your mini series sales are being put on that beautiful account called Drip account. I think I love that one. Sarah, what else can we do?
So okay, that's a big one for me. And I just want to point out that if you sell maybe a series that's for the year for 4 sets, now you're at $100,000. And I'm so glad, by the way, before I move on, I just have to say, I'm so glad that you said that about the Drip account, because I love how you teach that. I wish that I would have known that as a salon owner. I did something similar, but not as good. And how you teach is so simple. And I just love it. So the other thing that I want to talk about too is, and this can be applied over the course of the year, but if you think about, let's take the example of the next 6 weeks. Okay. Let's say that you have, let's say that you're seeing 50 clients a day.
Yeah.
Okay. For 5 days a week for the next 6 weeks. Now, you're better at math than me, so I hope that this is all correct.
Hey, look what I have.
Okay, perfect. But okay, so that's 1,250 appointments that we're going to have before the end of the year. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, let's just say if you had a tool.
Wait, I just love talking about money and I love talking about numbers. So keep going.
I love it. So let's say if you had a tool that could help you get a percentage of your guests, just a percentage, not 1,250, because that'd be impossible. That's an impossible goal. But let's take 20%. 20% of those guests, if we could get 20% of them to come in one more time before the end of the year, what would that mean? Well, if your average ticket is $150, that means $37,500 is what it means.
Before the end of the year, you guys. So even if you think about what can I bring that extra person for? Well, you can say, well, you can come for a great treatment just before the holidays. Or you get them, okay, let me do an extra blow dry or extra little bit of color or extra little bit of something that bring them back in. You have a conversation. You have hey, Sarah, I really think that in 3 weeks I need to see you one more time. And that one more time, all I want to do is I really want to give you an amazing shine to your hair and give you more strength to your hair. And so you have an opportunity here, not only to sell another service, but you have an opportunity to actually sell some more retail products and maybe bring another friend with that. So it could be a lot more than even $37,000 extra.
Yeah. And, if you think and the clients that I would target, if I were in the salon doing this, I would literally, if I was a provider, go through my client list and say, okay, Sarah only comes in every 8 to 10 weeks. If I set her reminder to go out to her because she's not on the books, or maybe she's on the books in January, but if I set her up to come in every 7 to 8 weeks, she's going to get a reminder before the end of the year. Likely when I get my reminder, I'm going to say, okay, it looks like I need to book. Okay, I need to get in. And, the clients that are kind of teetering on, they're probably trying to stretch it out, but who doesn't want to look their best before the holidays, before New Year's? And those are the kind of clients that you can target. So not everyone's going to be a candidate for it. They might say, I don't want to. Or maybe you can incentivize someone if they're thinking about it with, some samples of shampoo or a free treatment. Or like you said, you can incentivize them, because I wrote some of these numbers down. If 20% of your guests are already purchasing retail, but 200 more guests. So if 20% of them were purchasing retail, that means those 1,250 guests, 250 of them are already purchasing retail. But what about the 1,000 that left without purchasing that retail? What happened to them? So if you think about getting 20% of that 1,000, so that's 200 people extra to purchase one bottle of shampoo, average price maybe $30. That's another $6,000.
Absolutely. So the numbers are a pretty amazing power, you guys. I mean, we were talking about today at the group call how when you have that extra capital sitting in a saving account, and it grows and it grows and it grows, so does your confidence. It grows and it grows and it grows. And these are simple tips to, and Bill says these are really advanced and progressive tips, but these are the things that I want you guys to all think about. And I think Sarah has such a great perspective on numbers. How do you calculate the numbers? So number one, bring your client one more time a year, or maybe two more times a year. And why don't you just pre-plan with your client about how many more times they need to come and see you, and schedule it for the whole year. So funny story. My friend Lisa Corcoran, she used to have a book a long time ago that she used to pre-book a client for the whole year. Just like, she used to say, just like my dog needs grooming. And so I scheduled a whole year. So why not us scheduling a whole year? So I dare everybody here to go ahead and start thinking about how can you incorporate it in your consultation, pre-booking everybody one more time. Plus, if you are 20% retail, meaning if you sell 20% to your clients retail, bump it up to 25%. 25%. And the other thing I want to just add to it, Sarah, with everything you just said, I think it's great. What if that average ticket, we add another $8 to it?
Mm-hmm.
Just $8 to it. So now you're looking at, you're at $60,000 a year. Extra revenue. Cost you nothing. So the power of numbers.
I'll tell you this. Now, this was not during a pandemic, and this is when, I was running my salon. I used to have holiday incentives, and it was $500 cash, and we had two goals. Number one, the group had to meet the group goal, and number two, the provider, there's certain criteria that they had to follow to be able to be eligible to win this contest. So of course, the whole group had to perform, but then there was going to be one winner. And we had secondary prizes too, but that was a big motivator. And then I would always come in and give everyone $100 cash for Christmas too, because I shouldn't even say Christmas, for the holiday, because it was okay to do at the time. So that was really fun too. I did have something I wanted to ask you, Ronit. What do you think about providers having these conversations with their guests about, I'm trying to think about how to ask this in the right way. Everyone knows what's going on right now. It's not, every industry, everyone is in the same boat right now. How would you coach a salon and or their providers to have these conversations in a professional manner with their clients about, hey, you know what, we're a business and we've been hit by all of this. If you can come in one more time before the end of the year, if you can buy that product, we'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that I would definitely offer services such as pre-packed retail box, Birch box, have them sign up for delivery. You can use Uber for that these days. You can ship it, maybe include the shipping cost in that. Pre-packed color kits as well. Pre-pack. A lot of our customers, they do that. Treatments, and do a lot of appointments, virtual appointments. So what if you had two packages, and one would be the virtual package, and we'll call it the lockdown package or whatever, and one would be the hybrid package, which it could be, in the salon and delivering it with shipping. What if you had two packages and you just sold two packages and have them sign up for that? That's kind of like how I would go with it, because I think that's your opportunity right now is to design that service right now. You
Yeah.
know, I know we're coming into Black Friday, Shop Local, American Express for small businesses, and Cyber Monday. Everybody is going to be there and try to sell everything. Here's one thing that we used to do as a salon is that we used to give them a certificate to come and shop a week after. So we didn't compete with the big giants, right? And everybody right now is going to multiply being it. So give them an opportunity to come shop local a week after.
Ah,
That's what we used to do. Yeah, it used to be a lot of fun. We would have pie contest, who's baking the best pies. We had a lot of really great prizes for things like that. I think that if we can give you guys all that you listen to really great tips, you might hear Sarah and I can go back and forth for like the next 3 hours, just giving you lots of tips. All you got to pick up is one or two or three. That's it. One, two, or three, and implement them. Don't wait. Here's the biggest thing. The biggest problem is you're going to say, oh my God, these are great ideas. But ideas are just ideas until you actually implement them. So what are the three things that you guys are going to choose from what Sarah said and implement it? What resonates with you? Would love to hear from you. Would love to hear in the chat. And maybe you guys have some suggestions. Please go ahead. And right, Bill loves Small Business Saturday. That's always such a great one. So I think those are really good tips, Sarah.
good. I think that I would want tools to be able to do something like that as a salon owner myself. And I would feel much more comfortable closing out the year strong and having money in reserves going into 2021. I think the first few months are going to be a little uncertain, and that would certainly make me be able to sleep easier at night.
I totally agree. And everybody has been listening to your story and know that it's coming 100% from the heart, you guys. This is Sarah Cooper from our industry to our industry, and her story is just so inspiring that we're all going to be okay. We're all going to be okay. We just got to grind, like Frank says, a little bit more time, but let's be smart about it. So Sarah, we're going to have all these tips and on your website. I know you have a lot of those virtual webinar and education every Monday as well, right?
Almost every Monday. Yep. We sure do. About every other Monday.
And you have some great guests on your show. So I think it'll be great if we can just let everybody know where they can come and learn more.
Yes, absolutely. You can find us at aurasalonware.com. That's AURA Salonware, SALONWARE.com.
So just to wrap things up, if you could just come up and say last few words for everybody out there, based on your experience, going through ups and downs, plenty ups and downs, and what do you think we need to do to keep going?
Oh, I think that the number one thing is to be grateful. Number one, you have to be grateful for what you have. And even to use my daughter's situation as an example of that, I thought to myself, and it didn't happen right away, but I thought to myself, I was fighting some pretty tough, I don't want to call it depression, but down mindset. And I really had to think to myself, okay, I have my mind, I have my health, I have a nice life. I now need to pick myself up and accept my new normal for what it is. And all of a sudden now I need to learn how to be the best mother that I can, just a little bit differently. I was already going to be doing that. I just have to do it a little bit differently now. And that taught me resilience that I can now carry into every aspect of my life, whether it's divorce, whether it's, death, whether it's whatever it is, business successes and failures, whatever it is, pandemics, everyone has been suffering right now, but also to know, and this was something huge for me, to really, really realize that, the good times are as temporary as the bad times.
Yes.
And you can understand that when you're feeling that pressure from a bad time, it makes you appreciate the good even more, because you know that that's not going to last forever either.
Oh, that's such a great advice. The good times are always going to come. There's going to be bad times, and right now I think we did most of our bad times, and we're heading towards good times. So yeah, don't give up. We're here for you. If there's anything that you guys need, we're here to listen and learn from you. What are the things that we can do to help? That when you said gratefulness, I'd love to hear, what is your routine during the day? How do you manage everything? What makes you give you a daily thing? What do you do for your routine to keep your mind focused?
So during the pandemic is a little bit different than not during the pandemic.
Oh, I believe in that. Yeah.
But it's generally the same. Number one, I really, really have learned that I thrive in structure. I thrive in discipline, in my relationships and my life and my business and everything. So I get up at the same time. I work out. I make my bed, like something as simple as that. Even when my kids were in school, you know, taking them to school, we valued that time in the morning, because it was, even though it was 20 minutes to just talk, listen to music. If we wanted to listen to music together, say our affirmations, like kind of silly things like that. But really, I really like structure. I like discipline.
Yeah.
And working out is that's when I can really clear my head, and I can say, all right, like no matter what it is, like I've got it today.
Absolutely. Same thing, you know, love the structure, love the routine, love to stick to it. I think that there's a lot of blessing in that.
There really is. And family time too. And that's something that you and I talked about. I think that's what you and I clicked about when we first met, you know, really embracing that family time, even when, you know, your kids are being terrible, like just embracing it and saying, all right, well, today's just one of those days, and look at them acting so silly right now. But
Totally.
Embracing that, because as you and I talked about, you don't get that time back. And you know, same thing with going back to the good and bad, like those tough times with your kids. If somehow you can look at things with a sense of humor and just say like, all right, today they were really rotten, but I still love them to pieces. And I'm going to remember today because I loved it.
It's so true. And who can be more authentic than you about that? We just talked about how much we can just like drive ourselves bananas over our kids, but we love to have the family. And as a matter of fact, talking about family, everybody here, listen, this is Thanksgiving. The holidays are here. So don't shy away from what you did before. It's wonderful time, even though you might have to do a Zoom Thanksgiving, you know, for everybody here. Enjoy the holiday, enjoy it so much, and make something that you have not done before. You know, come in and join us at Americans Beauty Show. Look into your membership. We have our beauty brunch online right now. We have so many great things. So that will be really nice to see you guys at next week. And Sarah, you are such a good friend, such an inspiration, and what an inspiration to follow with resilience and stick to your dream. What you believe in, you will finally achieve what you really want. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Ronit, for having me. Always, I love every moment that we get to spend together. So thank you, sincerely.
Same for everybody. Enjoy Thanksgiving. I'll see you next Monday, and we'll talk more about what we've talked today and bring some more great experts. So Sarah, stick around. Don't leave yet.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.